can explain it. All right, I did a micro lesson that I wasn't sure I was going to release, but I'm going to talk about it right now. I tried to learn music, specifically playing the drums, and I got experts and looked at, talked to people who got to music. And here was the thing I couldn't understand. If I look at drum music written on a music sheet, and then I go to play it, it doesn't sound good. If I play it exactly like the music is written, it doesn't really sound like anything you'd want to listen to. And likewise, if you took a drum machine and you just programmed it to play the notes exactly as written, you wouldn't want to hear it. Because it wouldn't have any soul, it wouldn't have any, right? So when somebody teaches me to play the drums, and I play it exactly as it's written and exactly as taught, but it doesn't sound good, I say, why doesn't it sound good? Why is this famous drummer sounding good? I'm playing the same notes off the same sheet. Why does mine not sound good? And the answer is that the artist is actually adding something, right? So the artist is modifying the notes in small ways, a little emphasis, maybe a little space that they make up for by compressing the next one, something like that, whatever it is. So here's the question I asked. Well, if the good drummers are doing that, can't you just listen to them and then rewrite the music so that a new drummer could look at how the other person played it in a pleasing way and then just imitate it? So why couldn't my computer simply listen to Keith Moon or some other famous drummer and just say, oh, this drummer is not playing it the way it shows on the sheet. They're either consistently making this kind of change, which would be easy to program, or they're somewhat randomly adding things to it that your ear is picking up subtly. But a computer can randomly add things too. So there's no reason that your computer can't make this music better than an artist, except one reason. Do you know what that is? That the people who do it for a living, the artists, don't know what they're doing. That's the only way any of this makes sense. And the way you can confirm that is by talking to them. Let me give you my impression of a very good artist who really knows music, explaining to Scott why his drumming doesn't sound good. Why can't I just put this in a computer and it would sound great? And the artist says, no, it's not going to have the soul, It's not going to have the oomph, you know what I'm talking about? Because, if the computer does it, it's just going to be nobody wants to hear that. But if a human does it, it's going to be do you see? And then I say, no, I don't see. Because what you're describing, if you understand it, would be something you could write on this piece of paper. And you say, look, don't play it the way it's written normally. Make sure this is modified a little, this is modified. Now do that and watch how good it sounds. And then I'd say, oh, okay, so that's a little modification. I'll do that modification. I'll do it. Now that would work, but that will never happen. Instead of saying, okay, modify your sheet music so it's more like what they actually play that sounds good, do you know what the artist will say? No, you just got to put a little oomph into it. Got a little stank into it. The experts don't know why the thing they're doing works. They really don't. Economists don't know why shit happens. But it's their job to act like it. So you get a lot of experts explaining to you things, and you think it's your problem, don't you? Right? Do you know what I don't think? This will be the cockiest thing I've ever said, and I've said some cocky things. This will be the cockiest thing you've ever heard, but it's also my advice to you. Right? So I'm going to say something about myself, but put yourself in the position because it's about you too. The reason I can't understand the Fed is not my fault. It's not. It's because the people whose job it is to understand it don't understand it. If they did, they could explain it to you. If they did, they could explain it to you. When the experts can't explain something to you, it's not always because you're dumb. 20% of the time it is. 80% of the time, it's because they don't understand it. And when they do, they can understand it well. Let me give you another example. When I started writing humor, I naturally wondered if there's some way to do it better. Is there a formula to it? How do you know something's funny? And it didn't exist. And if you asked anybody who wrote humor for a living, and you said, all right, what makes it funny? And they say, well, surprise, or it's, tragedy happening to somebody else. And those would be in there. But if that's all you knew, could you reproduce it? Could you take that and then go write some humor? Nope. And the reason is that the people who made humor didn't know how they did it. They didn't understand their own area of expertise. But because I don't come from sort of an artistic background, I come from more of an engineering mindset. I'm not an engineer, but I spend so much time with them, you pick up the mindset. When I started doing humor, I started saying, well, there's got to be some formula underlying all this. And then I discovered it. It's the 2 of 6 formula. That if you write what you want to be a joke and use 2 of these 6 dimensions, it's funny. So that's an example of me as an expert actually understanding my field. Because I can explain it to you in a formula that you can completely understand. I'll do it right now. You have to use 2 of these 6 things, and help me out if I forget 2 of my own things. It's got to be cute, clever, absurd, recognizable, mean, or naughty. All right? Now, you understand what all of those words mean. You would know what a cruel situation looked like. You would know what an absurd situation looked like. So there's no definition that really needs to be given there. And all you do is follow that rule. If you use 2 of those dimensions in your joke, people will laugh at it. It actually is a formula. Now, musicians can't do what I just did. Tell you how to do it, with some detail that you could just put into an objective form. And when people can't put it that simply, they don't understand their field. Right? Okay. Somebody says the good ones can. Yeah, everything has an exception. And by the way, there is nothing more annoying than dealing with what I call the absolute people on Twitter. So if I say inflation's gone up, somebody's going to say, that's not true. The price of my whatever went down yesterday. All right, and then I want to say, but mostly it went up. All right? I'm not really talking about every single situation. I'm generally talking. So the other day when I was saying that I thought genetics were far more important than parenting, a lot of people said to me, why do you say parenting is completely useless? And I say, no. I'd say parenting is maybe 10 to 20% of the outcome. And genetics is probably 80 or 90. And then people say to me, but why are you saying that genetics is everything? And I say, I don't know, did you just listen to the last 10 seconds? I just said it's 90%. And then people say, well, then you're saying